Hi everyone. So we will continue our lecture. Like in last lecture, but what we have discussed is like we have started with the economic development theory. So first we had discussed about the classical theories. So classical in per se, like we discussed the Smithian theory. Then we go get down to Ricardo and then Mill and the Malthus. So these four were the main proponents of classical theory. But the crux of the theory was same. Like economic development theory basically goes about the same thing. Like if there is some sort of problem in underdeveloped country, so these theories try to solve that problem. Okay, with their different mechanism. But one thing was common there in classical theory, that there will be capital accumulation, but this capital accumulation will not persist in future, and ultimately it will lead to a stationary state where capital accumulation will stop and the wages will remain at the subsistence level. So if anyone has this confusion, so I will say just try to watch down the last lecture, and this lecture is in continuation to the previous lecture where we have discussed all the classical, you can say, economists who has given their theories regarding the economic development. Okay. So in that sequence, next who has basically has a pioneer work in this economic development theory is Karl Marx. Okay. So Karl Marx, like in this lecture, what we will do is we will see the major, you can say, the features of Karl Marx. Okay. So Karl Marx is itself, you can say, like he is the author of Das Kapital. So Marx wrote this Das Kapital. In Das Kapital, he basically discussed about the theories which are very much related for the welfare of the underdeveloped country. Okay, but we initially discussed this, like all the economic development theories are trying to solve the problem of economic development, but the regions, or you can say the mechanisms which they are following, are not very much applicable to the underdeveloped countries. So I will give you an example. Like in classical theory, you saw that there will be capital accumulation, but capital accumulation is not a feature of underdeveloped country. Why? You all know that for capital accumulation, these particularly businessmen or industrialists, or you can say capitalists, used to do this capital, or you can say investment wala thing. Then investment will lead to capital accumulation, or you can say capital accumulation will lead to investment. But in order to, you can say, meet the capital needs, there should be a huge amount of saving. So in underdeveloped country, these people do not have much, you can say, income, so that they can do the savings thing, because all their income is, you can say, spent on consumption. Okay, so underdeveloped countries do not favor this capital accumulation approach of economic development. So you can say Marx, or sorry, the classical theory was not that much, you can say, applicable to underdeveloped economy, but they have sort of given their theory in order to solve some sort of problem. Like if there will be capital accumulation, then those features like poverty, and if you will ask the income inequality, those uh, sanitation wala thing, health status. So these might improve if the capital accumulation will happen. Okay, so in the continuation of that lecture, so we will discuss the Marx theory. So in Marx, we will discuss some sort of, you can say, first we will discuss the features of Marx theory, and then we will see how Marx has given their interpretation of capital accumulation. Okay, and what sort of things which were happening there. So according to some paper, Marxism is itself a religion. Why? The main crux of the theory is that Marx basically predicted that this inevitable doom of capitalism, and this, you can say, it was on this prediction that communism has built its headship. Means this capitalism will not persist, and ultimately, like if I will summarize this model, so Marx was saying that there will be two sort of people. First is the bourgeoisie, the elite class, or you can say these are the capitalists, and then we have proletariat, who are the working class. So Marx based his theory on the basis of surplus value concept. So surplus value means if let's say a particular capitalist is investing, so they are earning a profit from that investment, and they are using these working class people in order to run their company. Okay, so they will pay a subsistence wage to this working class. So the surplus value, like uh, let's say two working people, like two workers are producing a particular product which is valued at 8, and those two people are paid let's say wage of 2 rupees. Okay, so they are getting paid 2 rupees, so 4 rupees is the cost of the company, but in actual those workers should be paid 4 rupees in order to match the equal valuation of the goods. Okay, so the good is valued at 8 rupees, but these working class are being paid only 2 rupees, so 2 into 2 we are getting 4, so these working classes are getting 4, so over 8 this 4 is the surplus. So this surplus value gets accumulated over time, and workers are being paid less than their you can say contribution. So as the time passes, this will create a conflict between the working class and the elite class, and this conflict will ultimately lead to the collapse of you can say capitalism. Okay, so in future this conflict, or you can say this division between these two classes will lead to ultimate collapse of capitalism. So this is you can say a brief summary of Marx theory, but we will delve into deeply. So first thing is very important, that the concept or the Marx theory is built upon the concept of surplus value. So whatever capitalist is getting as a profit is its surplus value. Okay, so they are exploiting the workers. They are not paying them what their contribution to the particular product is. So the profit is basically the surplus value. So Marx gives three sort of definition. So C is the constant capital. Constant capital means this is the investment done by, you can say, capitalist in order to buy raw material. V is variable capital. So this is the amount of investment which is being done to buy the labor hour. Okay, and in return they are paying wage. And S is the surplus value. Surplus value means whatever is being, you can say, whatever is the profit of the capital. So this is in loose term, we can say that this is the